Hello and welcome back to the Damn Podcast. Today's guest is Bizzo Bond, battle rapper and former champion at Premier Battles. He holds the title as the longest reigning champ over there, having only lost his title very recently to renowned veteran Gemini in a very close battle. Bizzo went on an unprecedented run to get the title in the first place and has since solidified himself as one of the best battle rappers in the world, with performances both domestically and internationally. He's battled on such platforms as Canada's King of the Dot and America's iBattleTV and has had incredible showings versus their champions at the time. If you'd like to watch these live, you can find all the information to do so at connor.work/dam, that's DAM all caps, and follow me on Twitch at KONRRR to get notified when I go live.
Mic check, 1, 2.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool. All right. So to reiterate what we just spoke about, the first thing I asked you was, is there anything new about your motivation? And you basically said something along the lines of, and you can elaborate in a second. But you said something along the lines of, there are only a couple more things that you want to do. And I do want to say, because a lot of people that are listening might not know what blackout is. So I just want to preface as well in the moment while we're, redoing this part. You said that you wanted to be a part of KOTD's blackout. Because it's something that got you really interested in the first place, or not, very, very hype about battle rap in the first place. And Blackout, to be clear, for King of the Dot, is an event where they have matchups that they don't tell the public, and then on the day, they will basically do this kind of roulette type thing where it goes down the names, and then it will put the matchups in on the day. So obviously the people know prior, but the fans don't, and that's what makes it very, very exciting, basically. So.
Yeah, just one of the authentic King of the Dot events.
Mm-hmm.
That's there on my ultimate battle rap bucket list. And then I just want to see how it goes with that as well. I'd like to think I did all right in my first go over on King of the Dot. So I'd love to go back over, show them what I can do again, and then perhaps maybe build a bit of a run up now. There are certain things that I'm really excited to do. There's things that I'm still motivated and driven to accomplish. I'd love to be able to look back on battle rap as a whole in 10, 15 years time or whatever, and just be like, yo, I did all this. It was crazy. And I still think I've got a long way to go to do that. But like I said, man, I feel very set free since I've lost the UK title, which is a weird thing to say because it sounds like I'm glad, but I'm not glad that I'm no longer champ. I'd love to be champ still of the league.
Yeah.
Premier Battles is the sole reason why I've got as far as I have through their guidance and help and support, and giving me the opportunities that not a lot of people would have at the time when I tried to give it another go in this. So
I think it's a mutual thing, I think you both did each other massive solids in the way that you both handled yourselves. I think you did something a lot for Premier Battles itself, and they did a lot for you, I think, because it was
definitely, yeah.
It was a very good timing for you to be as motivated as you were and to do what you did. And I think that a lot of people have been saying it online as well that I've seen has been saying you made the belt matter in the first place, to be honest, because prior to that it wasn't really the biggest, most prestigious thing about the league. People liked the league for sure, and they enjoyed battles, and people are going to want a belt regardless, right? But I think that you really made it legitimate. And I think even Jem said that quite a few times. I remember seeing him say that.
Yeah, and I think that was the most important thing is when I won the Anarchy tournament and I got the opportunity to battle for the title, it was kind of, what if I was to become champ, I'd want it to matter. So it's a very layered thing to say that, because you can't then win it and then lose it straight away, because then it wouldn't matter as much. Yeah, I was always thinking long term, I'm gonna have to win 4 or 5 battles in a row.
Yeah.
After I'd managed to do this for it to have any legitimacy whatsoever. So yeah, I do think it's mission accomplished in that sense. I look back and I think, could I have done more? I don't think so. I think, like you said, the Gem battle was very close. I do think I was in a bit of an uphill fight from the get-go with that one as soon as it was announced.
Yeah.
But that's battle rap, man. It's you can't. It's the same as boxing. It's the same as UFC. When you've had a champ for a long time, it's right, there's a new guy now.
You want the new guy to win, pretty much. Yeah. You just kind of do.
And I had my time as the underdog, the one that was proving everyone wrong, and then it got to the point where I carried on winning to the stage where it was right, he can't you can't. I outgrew that
You
character.
don't get
I
that
feel.
advantage anymore. Yeah, like the underdog
Yeah,
advantage is there, and then you've just completely proven them that you're not the underdog anymore. So
yeah, literally, yeah.
it's hard to put you in that position and kind of like root for you in that way. Um, I would say like you have a battle coming up with Frankie Fraser, right? Like on the March the
Hmm.
29th, I believe, in Brixton. Um,
That's right.
which
Yeah,
which which is a fucking incredible battle. I can't wait to see that one. That's Frankie's also one of my favorites, and I think he has a lot of over the last couple of years. I think he's developed in a lot of different ways that he has been criticized for prior. And I think that's just a very very good matchup in general. I think especially considering, like you said, since you don't have the belt anymore, and you also mentioned UFC as well. It's a little bit like that in UFC too. Like you'll have people that will be so like they'll be the champ for a long time. Like you be people like Israel Adesanya, for example. You'll have like people that have been the champ for ages and they defended a bunch of times, and it's like the whole thing. And then once they actually get out of it, even though the loss might have been a bad loss, and yours wasn't, but in that case, it might have been a bad loss, but it doesn't really matter because it frees them up to actually be able to think about things again rather than think, oh, the champ, the champ, the champ, the champ, and it's like all about the belt.
yeah. Me and Frankie are very similar in terms of like over the last few years we've made a lot of improvements to our game as a whole. We've become more popular than we were previously. And like Frankie's one of my favorites to watch as well. Like when Frankie's on form, it's like, I don't want to say entertaining. It's like it's just really satisfying to watch how he performs and what how he incorporates certain things into his style. So,
I agree.
and now I don't have anything in terms of like, I don't have any like title obligation. I don't have anything like that. I don't have to center my content around that. I can literally I've just got like free reign to do whatever I want to do, which I've not had for since 2022. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
always had to mention that I'm the champion because they're going to mention that I'm champion in their round. So I can't just do 3 rounds of not saying anything about being the title holder in the UK. It's always had to be a topic. And in all honesty, by the time it come to battling Gem, those angles had dried out in my head. Like I couldn't stretch it any more than I already had.
Yeah,
I mean, there's only so many ways you can reinvent the wheel. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely time. At the time, I was very like disappointed. I was upset about it, and then in reflection, I was like, I'm not really bothered because now I can just elevate differently rather than continue to be a champ. The belt means something now. The league's in a good place. The scene's buzzing again. It's not like dead crowds. It's not like shit matchups. It's not, terrible cards where everyone's choking or no showing. It's in a good place. It's in a good spot.
it
I
is.
laid some good foundation, so I'm happy with all that. And now I can just do whatever I want. I can battle whoever I want, wherever I want, whenever I want. Don't have to worry about politics and don't battle this guy because he might be a title challenger in a year or two, and we don't know if he'll still have the belt then. So you can't challenge him. You can't battle him now, or you can't battle this guy because he wants to battle you for the title and he's not ready to. So
And if you do now, you're gonna ruin the whole battle for the next thing,
yeah,
and then yeah.
very 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 political. Like people don't understand.
It makes
It's
sense to
just.
be that like that though. To be fair, like for the
Oh,
league owner's
definitely.
perspective.
It's a business, man. It's a business at the end of the day. So it has to be like that. I get it completely, and I accepted it. And but when obviously the narrative started, like, oh, he won't battle him because he won't put his title up, or it's like I don't get. It's not for me to decide who battles me. Like
Yep.
the WBC in boxing are the ones who pick who the next challenger is. You don't. The fighter doesn't get to decide who he's fighting as a number one contender. It gets
Same as
picked
UFC
for
as
him.
well. Yeah. Like you can't
Yeah.
like Dana
So
White's the guy who's gonna say it at the end of the day. Like you can't really, and it's gonna be based on what makes sense in the future, especially if
yeah,
you think, oh,
exactly.
this
And what
person's a
makes sense for
star or
business? Yeah, what's gonna make the most money? What's gonna draw the biggest crowd? The best battle? What's the best matchup stylistically?
mm.
Who's ready for it? Who's not ready for it? Who
And
needs
when is
to
the best time too?
represent?
Not just like who's the
Yeah,
best matchup, but like when specifically is the best. Like that's a very important part of it. I think that a lot of leagues that like little leagues that don't really think about these things. I think they don't realize how much damage they're doing to their league when they like just put everyone together really, really, really fast, and then you don't really see it too much now. Like there's less little leagues popping up. I would say at the moment there's some, but like I would say uh, there used to be more small leagues, and when things weren't going too well with everyone, you know what I mean? And I think now people are kind of gravitating a little bit back to the bigger leagues again, and then looking
There's
for,
no
you know, that
there's
kind of
no
thing.
short money. There's no big money short term in battle rap. You have to. It's long. It's always a long game like that. People have to understand that. You can't come into this thinking I'm going to come in, I'm going to make a fortune, I'm going to dip. It
No.
doesn't work like that. You need you really need a few years to hit that level. Like, I mean, I want to be on all the big cards worldwide, and I will get overlooked at this point where I'm at now,
Mm.
just because I'm not around for long enough yet. Like, I'm not a well-known name yet. Um, some of my battles still struggle on views because it's only been a couple of years since I've been at the top of my game as such.
Mhm.
So I know there's still work to be done, and I need to get better still, and need to elevate, and I need to put some big matchups on. That's why I chose Frankie in the first place,
Yep.
because Frankie's like a perfect battle for me in terms of like UK stylistically. It's a name that it's a battle that people will want to see. It's a good style clash. We're both, approaching like our prime as such. It
Yep.
just makes sense to do it. And I've got this is one advantage I've got. I've got so many UK matchups I could do. Like,
True.
the list is massive. Whereas, I could battle Frankie, I could battle Rivers, I could battle Archaic, I could battle Maverick, Slimbook, Visual. The list is endless.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
it is enormous.
And I'm not gonna lie, in the meantime as well, like at the moment, like there's a lot of people that are new at battling, but have been learning a lot from like the past battlers and all the veterans that have been doing it, especially over the last few years. There's people like RX Southside and things, and people like that, or Black T, or like there's loads of people that are like making their way up right now and like putting a lot of effort in and trying to improve their game and everything like that. And I think, yeah, because of that, it's in a really healthy place. Like, yeah, you might not look at the numbers and go, oh, it's, thriving like it might have been at one point, but like I think you got to look at it from a different lens, because back in the day when all those numbers were happening, it wasn't that these people were just the most entertaining people in the world and they were way better than everyone else right now or anything like that. It's just the way that social media works. It was just like that at the time. Like things were going viral like very quickly. It was just the way YouTube worked, wasn't demonetizing and stopping things from going certain, being spread to certain people. I think now there's a different business model a little bit with battle rap, and I think the league owners have been working this out, especially Premier Battles, over the last few years. And I think as long as battlers realize what it is they've got right now and keep trying, and like you made a tweet, I don't remember the exact words you used, but you made it, I think it was yesterday, and you were talking about how if all the top tiers really put effort in and battle 3 times this year, that it will be a legendary year for battle rap. And I completely agree with that. As long as people put effort in this year, it will be insane. It will be ridiculous. And then I don't see why the
if all
numbers
of them
can't be similar after that year. You know what I mean?
if all of them if all the big guns did 3 battles in one year, the following year would be enormous, because it would generate so much content of high caliber and quality, so much potential attention, even in short term, like on the reels and stuff. Like, if you look at reels that and shorts and stuff that are shared by Prem, yes, some of the material is good, but you'll have 1 or 2 that'll go viral. Whereas if you've got like the highest caliber battlers in the country consistently churning out content,
Yep.
the chances of that material going viral at any stage is a lot higher than relying on people who are still learning the craft, still learning how to command a stage, still learning to rap, basically, in a lot of cases. So we're in an environment and a world now where content's everything. Like, you got to just continue to churn content out. It's not a case of quality as such anymore in terms of like long form content. It's more getting people's attention like that consistently, and then being like, right, I like that, I'm going to go and look for it, I'm going to go and watch more of it. And yeah, it's people. That's where battle rap's at now, because
You got to throw a lot of the
pen
wall.
games are,
Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
pen games are prime example, because pen games all viral content. I mean, you can't have a pen game clip of a girl saying, I think your lisp is cute, say sizzling sausages in a saucepan.
Yeah.
You can't, that sort of stuff is going multi million views online. which to me highlights that the audience that want to see that sort of content, that sort of rap battle style piss take content, you know, it's there. It's there for people to watch and share. So I do think battle rap's about to hit this stage now where it goes big again, and it's just a case of consistency, and the big guys just need to come out for 1 year and they'll see it, and then everyone will reap the rewards of it. And that's where my stance is on it.
I completely agree.
So I'm looking for it. I'm looking forward to an active year this year. Hopefully, last year I wanted to be a bit more active than I was. Well, a lot more active than I was, but life got in the way a little bit, and things didn't work out how they were supposed to for me in a number of areas. So I kind of like got hindered a bit, and battle rap had to take a back burner for me. I really wanted to like use the jazz battle as a launch pad and go a bit crazy later in the year, but I had so many like big battles fall through and stuff going on behind the scenes that was just, it was just like, God, I can't focus on you know, battle rap at the moment. I've got to do other stuff. So this year I'm a lot more positive about everything. I think I could have a very active year. I could hit some really nice stages as well if things go to plan. Already had a couple of battles fall through, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited, man.
I think the current state of things is like you got to throw a lot at the wall and see what sticks. And even if a lot of it doesn't stick the first time you post it, you might even be able to post it again later down the line. Someone I've learned this from as well is Frack. Frack does such a good job of marketing himself. And what I've noticed is he always reposts his content. It's never like, he's never ashamed like, oh, I've already posted this, people have already seen it. He doesn't go, oh, I'm going to try and see if this works and then just leave it there. He goes, all right, cool, I'll post that again in a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. And then it will just go viral out of nowhere. And then he's just like, oh, there you go. Fucking, it worked. And I think Pen Game's been doing that too. And I noticed that with Pen Game where they'll have like these shorts of these clips and then right at the top of the description, they'll have an immediate link to that particular battle. And I think it just suits, it is perfect. It's exactly right there. It's got a link to the battle that is the first thing that people see, just a little arrow and then the name of the battle. Like, I think it's funneling people correctly to exactly where they need to go. And I think you're right as well in saying that the audience is there. They just need to know it's there. And I think a lot of the time, if they don't know the names, they might not click it. If they haven't seen a clip or two, I think with Pen Game, a lot of people have seen a clip or two and they've gone, oh shit, that's the new big thing. That's like, it's one of those things that's happening right now. Like, and people are paying a lot more attention. And so they're way more likely to click the links. So I think if Prem does something pretty similar with, you know, all the battlers that you mentioned, the big names and whatnot, going ham for a whole year, and then posts a lot of clips of those consistently throughout the entire year, I think they have a very, very high chance of exactly the same thing happening to them, to be honest with you.
Definitely,
I think
man. Definitely.
It's just based on like the current era, really, isn't it?
Just a bit of hard work's needed, that's all. Like, that's all people. If we collectively agree that you need to just dig your feet in and put a bit of graft in this year, you'll reap the rewards from it. I mean, I could go on forever about the state of battle rap. Like, I as champion, it really opened my eyes behind the scenes because I was obviously involved in a lot of decisions, staff wise and event wise and stuff. So I've seen things that just hinder everything, like unnecessarily hinder everything, and you know, it's just boring politics and inflated egos that just don't need to be inflated. It's at the end of the day, it's just a community and a culture where people pay money to come and watch you rap. I mean, that's a very like privileged thing to be able to say you do, in my opinion. Especially in the hundreds as well. Like, there's not many rappers, you know, that make music that can pull in shows of like 400-500 people, whereas you'll get to rap battle in front of them on a consistent basis. So enjoy the ride, bro. And anything that goes better than expected, or you know, hits the upper echelons of like entertainment, then that's a reward for your hard work. But don't go into it expecting it to be handed to you on a plate and then you reap the rewards from it and the league suffers, because that's not how it works.
Very true, very true. So, right, so you're going to battle Frankie. That's a massively good matchup. I think that might be the perfect matchup that I would pick as well if I was going to pick one for the next battle. Again, to reiterate for anyone that would like to go watch that live, it's on Saturday, March 29th in Brixton, on the Absolute X Short Circuit 10. Confusing wording of that. I'm not going to lie. The naming on the flyer was like One part of it said absolute X short circuit, and then the other one said short circuit X absolute,
Well,
and then it said 10 at the end of it. I was very confused.
it's short circuit 10, so it's the
Right.
10th short circuit, but they've twinned it with
And
absolute to
right.
make it like a big event.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a large short circuit style card, but
Right.
they've
But
given the performers that have put the work in on that particular platform the chance to be on a big card, a big main stage battle card sort of thing. So
fair enough. So after that battle, have you got anyone else in mind specifically already?
I wouldn't say I've got anyone in mind. Like I know that the names in the UK who make sense to me. Obviously, we've spoke about that. I really want to do a couple more internationals. I really want to get abroad again and you know, just expand my brand as a whole. Really, I've spoken to a couple of people, so you know, I'm like dipping my toe in and potentially getting something there. But we'll see. It's just hard. It's very hard in this climate to like kind of
Yeah.
you know organize something successfully. So
I mean, sometimes, you know, like after your battle, they might battle, and then you might see a performance of theirs, and that might be the hype that you need anyway, you know, to
yeah,
push off for that battle. Like Rivers, for example, might have a crazy performance again because he's had plenty. And then maybe you're like, oh, that's the fucking battle. Then there you go. It could be like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, man. Like it's a strange one as well going into this year because I'm actually getting to like have a say on who I want to battle rather than being told who to battle.
Yeah.
It was only really the internationals I had much say on, but even like the likes of Jazz the Rapper, like if you'd have said to me, who do you want to battle internationally at that stage of my career, I don't think Jazz would have been on the list simply because I didn't think it was gonna that battle would ever materialize first and foremost. And it wasn't any shade to Jazz at all, but I don't think it would a name that would have like popped up for me to go, I really want to battle Jazz the Rapper. Like, which the motivation for that battle came from Jazzy's side, not from my side. She reached out and said she wanted to battle me. Then when that happened, I was like, wow, Jazz the Rapper wants to battle me. That's really
You're thinking about it, and you're like, oh damn, that's actually kind of crazy. Yeah.
And then I really wanted it because then I thought, right, she obviously respects me enough as an artist to want to share the stage with me and battle me. So then the motivation grew from that. Then there's so many people I battle, bro. So many people that, like I said, it's almost like I'm new because there's so many possibilities. Like I haven't watered down my opportunities earlier in my career because I never hit the heights of some of the UK heads. So it's a bittersweet moment to be sitting here now and saying like, yeah, it was bad back then, but now look, I can do whatever I want. I'm in a very, very good position. I'm probably in the best position.
You're in a rare position too, man. Like it's really rare that someone has been around for that long and then just decides to fucking turn on the switch and then just you know end up being like, oh, I'm just gonna be one of the best. Like fuck it, and you just did. Like it's very rare.
It was always there. It was always there. It was just there was just a culmination of things I just couldn't do, and it was basically just experience, man. I never performed in front of anything prior to battle rap. Like battle rap was my first time, like practically speaking in public, if you will. Like I wouldn't even do a PowerPoint presentation at work usually without being riddled with anxiety and stage fright for it. So once I started battle rapping, it was only inevitable that I'd struggle with the performance art side of things
for a little bit,
have to go and then again the preparation thing. Couldn't gauge how long I needed. Couldn't gauge how long it took to memorize and stuff. So it's kind of like leaving it late, or just I wasn't effective with my practice. And there was so many different things back then. But it led me to here now because the fear of going to a battle and not knowing my shit is so like large now that I just won't do it. I just won't do it again. It
you're like bullying yourself into being prepared.
Literally, man. Fear of failure is a beautiful thing sometimes.
You're not wrong, man. Like there's a lot of things like where, you know, at first it's gonna fuck with you. It's not gonna be a positive thing whatsoever. Like it's gonna really affect you. But then after a little bit of trying over and over again, you're like, right, okay, and you start to get your bearings and understand like where you're actually going wrong and how you can fix it. I think one of the words you just said was You weren't being effective with your practice. I think that's like a big one with anything. Like, I think people think practice is just doing over and over again, and it's just not. Like, you need to be deliberate and like actually
Yeah,
practice. Like, fix the things that you know you're fucking up with, or you know, think about what you can actually improve and how you can improve it, rather than just going, I'm just going to keep doing this and bashing my head against the wall and hopefully it works. It has to be a bit more, you know, thought out than that. I think with most things, especially creative work.
yeah, definitely, man. I think it was just a bit of naivety in my younger age to say like, I reckon I can do this on a week's prep,
Mm.
and I just couldn't. And I had a really strenuous job at the time as well, like full time. I was doing like 60 hours a week, but I was doing it in an environment where there was absolutely no chance of me getting any writing done or thinking of bars or performing a bit. And but I couldn't fit it all in. I was just, but that again is just time management. Um, so there was so many different branches of the tree that made it effectively impossible for me to be successful at that time. Um, and I'm just glad I walked away and I didn't continue to, embarrass myself as much
Yeah.
as I did.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, not a lot, but a decent amount of people did just keep going and going and going. And there's
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like if we really went through the list of old don't flop battlers, for example, like I'm pretty sure we could point out a lot of them that if they just stopped for a bit and took a step back, they would have probably been way better off now, than they are now, at
Yeah,
least like
literally.
image wise. Um,
Yeah, that's it. And that's an important thing. That's what gets you the battles abroad. It does not, you can't just have one good battle
yep,
on a small card and be like, right, which internationals flag getting flown over for me.
very true.
You've got to be very consistent, and you've got to treat it like a job, which I do. I treat it like it's a part-time job because it is really. I
Yeah,
put a
lucky
lot of
is.
investment into it. It's my brand. It's me as a person, like getting judged artistically. So I treat it very seriously. I think if people were more conscious about the brand as a whole, like if you were a battle rapper and you are a brand because you were a battle rapper. Like people, if you're good at what you do, people will buy T-shirts with your name on it. They'll come and watch you just to see you. They'll want pictures with you to put on Instagram. Like it's down to you to put the work in and make it, make yourself successful, and then all that gets better, and more people want photos, and you sell more T-shirts, and you live better. So and you get flown out to different leagues and enjoy life and get all these mad experiences like rapping on street corners in New York and uh, going to Las Vegas. It's madness. Bad
Yeah.
journey so far.
Hey, it was cool because like when I visited New York, I just happened to be in the area when you were battling there, so I got to stand in the room while you battled Oppa, and I just remember I said like right at the start when we were having mic troubles that like I just didn't like people in the room kept telling me at the time that you'd lost, because obviously they were there for their boy, and you know he's the American and you're not, and also I think sometimes people don't understand what the fuck you're saying, but it's not even like you don't even have a difficult to understand accent or anything. Like you have a pretty normal Prestonian accent, I would say, but obviously that's coming from me, someone from Preston. So maybe that's why I can understand no problem, and maybe you are actually hard to understand. I don't know. I don't think so though. I think you have a pretty clear like way of speaking. To be fair, so
That battle I rap considerably slower than all my other ones, which I did on purpose for that reason. But I've been told by a number of people abroad that it's easier for Americans and Canadians to understand like a northern accent than it is for a southern one. Like the southern one's really difficult for them to understand, whereas like northern accents are very you know a lot more easy on the ear for them. So, and when you first doing your international battles, you have got to really try and dumb it down. That's why I take very generic angles, and because I'm trying to draw in the American crowd. So a lot of my material is very like generic and
mhm.
like if you're an English person listening to it, it's very like against jazz I was talking about like beef eaters and stuff like that, and against opera I was mentioning like the Queen's death and things like that.
Yep.
And it's just very easy. I'm just trying to make it very easy to understand material, just to draw you in, and then obviously make it more complex down the line. Like those battles were for that reason.
I think you did a really good job of it in that battle. To be honest, I do think that you did. You made it pretty clear, and I think the issue with Oppa at the time was that he was developing. To be honest with you, like the reason I don't think he's. I think now if you battled right now, I actually think that the battle would be a lot closer than it was then. In my opinion,
I think it'd be a lot better as well.
oh
I
yeah,
think
for
it'd be a
sure.
lot better.
Because I think both of you,
Oppa's great, man.
yeah, he
Oppa's a
is.
brilliant,
He was
brilliant
great then
performer.
too, but he was really good.
Yeah, yeah.
There was only a few things I didn't like. Like I didn't like I liked the bar, the idea of is that a bloody knife? Now it is. That's a good bar. Like I like the idea of that bar. However, the problem I had with it was his accent that he did. It was just
Yeah,
too
it's not a
bad.
bit Crocodile Dundee, isn't it?
It was like bloody. What the fuck does that? What is that? Bloody? Who the fuck says that like that? I've never met someone, certainly not in Preston. And the thing is, I would have been such a bad friend if he hit me up and said, "How do you say this in Preston accent?" And I would have told him. I would have legit, just to make the battle better, I would have explained it to him. But like he just, I think that's something that Americans, like, if they're gonna try and okay, so you said basically just how you're gonna appeal to American audiences, right? And I think you did a pretty good job of that. I think sometimes, however, the other way can't necessarily be said. And I think Oppa's actually gotten better at that since he's come over and battled a lot of other people, and I think he's improved a lot over the last like few years for sure. Since you battled him, he's way better than he was, and I think you're way better than you were as well. I actually think that would be just a good rematch in general. I think like down the line.
Yeah, now we've like mentioned it in the air, it would make a good battle again. I would enjoy doing that again later down the line for sure.
Like, would you do that on KOTD or iBattle or
I've got a few.
Battles?
I'd do it on iBattle probably, but
Okay.
I mean it's a bit soon, isn't it? Like
Not yet,
I think
yeah.
2 years. Yeah, maybe like in a couple of years' time. Yeah,
That's a down the line one for sure.
There's quite a few. This is what I mean. Though there's so many names on iBattle, so many names on King of the Dot. It just doesn't make sense to do a rematch as such. Like I could battle so many people on iBattle, and
I agree with
a
that.
lot of respect.
I agree with that. I think Oppa's a down the line one. I don't think like right this second is the best time for it. Like it'd be good now, but it wouldn't. It'd be kind of a waste.
I wouldn't oppose it in the future.
It'd be kind of a waste because it's like if we really leave that a couple more years, like if he keeps going in the direction he's going, it's just gonna be way better. Like because he's really rising. To be honest with you, like he's doing a lot of crazy battles. Like a lot of his clips are going very viral as well. Like not like full on viral, but like for battle rap terms, you know. And he's doing really good, man. And I'm proud of the guy.
He's a great guy as well, man. I've spent a lot of time with him. I really like him as a person.
Good dude for sure. A lot of the Spaces guys in general, like the dudes who started on Discord servers, I think are really coming into their own right now. Like they've all gone from being online battlers and then moving into the actual space, and they've really kind of done a really good job of it, better than a lot of people that were never even online in the first place. Like some people, there are people that have been around battling in person since like 10 years before they ever even thought about battling, and they're better than them, I think now. Like,
yeah, the Spaces battles. So they get a lot of stick. Spaces battlers, like unnecessary stick in my opinion. Because if that opportunity was available to the likes of me, like if you apply my situation to the way it was back in like 2010, 2011, I would have snapped your hand off to be able to do it in that format first. Because the difference is that a lot of battlers they end up building a bit of a cult following online before they've even battled properly in person. So the comfort level is there because they've already got people in the room that are like excited to hear them, and you've got people talking about them already. And the difference is when you're doing a tryout battle in the UK, for example, it's your first time ever battling. It's not a case of I'm looking forward to seeing this person. It's a case of
I wonder if this guy's good or not.
Yeah. But this guy's probably going to be shit because it's his first ever time. And then the best case scenario is you surprise everyone and do a really good performance. So I think it's a very good way of getting in. I mean, the impersonation battles and stuff like that. Yeah, I can take or leave them. I'm not really interested.
They're gimmicky at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in terms of development, if you're going to do 5 Spaces battles, which not a lot of people are going to see, which is a good thing, but like you'll have a core audience of like 100, 150 people listening to you on a space, where you might get 20 of them turn up to an event that you end up on.
Yeah,
and then you've already got fans in the room now. So it's definitely benefited
for sure.
The likes of Oppa, Eunice.
I
You
think
know, these
like back in the
these
day,
people.
there used to be a lot of like people would try and get their clout by rapping non-battle rap stuff. Like they would try and get on some big channel or something, and they would try and do a freestyle or something like that, right? And then like if they got a big buzz from that, then they would be like, oh, it's that guy. I've seen him rap before, but I haven't really seen him battle. Blah blah blah. But like I think now it's like there's so much footage to go off over the years. Like a lot of these new battlers can look and watch every little detail of so many different battlers and different styles and all these types of things. And then if you get in a space, the upside is like one of the upsides is that it's very very low investment, but you can reach a lot of very very big super fan type people from the battle rap community because they're the most likely to be there. If we're talking like in the spaces, the most likely people to be in those and listening to you in that moment in a spaces event are people that are really into battle rap, and those are the same people that are going to go talk to their friends about it and go tell other people that also are really really into battle rap. Like I think that exact thing happened with Oppa and Eunice and these sorts of people, and like even other people who did things like the TikToks, like Archduke Redcat, like he just made some TikToks fucking rapping towards some objects, and people love that shit. Like there's people who I know not remotely from battle rap who hit me up about him all the time, like because they know I like battle rap. They're like, "Oh, have you seen this guy?" All the time that happens, and it's just I think these things matter because you're showing your skill set immediately, and those people know you're good at this off rip. Like if they just happen to be there, and even if it's only a couple people, and even if they don't end up in the room, they might go tell like their friends on Discord or whoever it is, you know, or on Twitter and or tweet about it. And then that friend might then go, oh shit, yeah, my friend told me about them. And then they can go watch the space and go, shit, they're fucking good, man. And then they end up in the room. And then, you know, it snowballs, I think, you know. But I agree, like people kind of shit on them. But the thing is, a lot of like big names back in the day originally came from text battling, and you know, there's a lot of people who did.
Text battling was a massive thing, yeah. Text
Like
battling.
I think like
Briggsy, I think
Lex
Briggsy.
did that first, and Briggs, like you said, did it, and then there's a lot of people who did. There's a lot of people, big names that you would never think were originally on like forums and shit, talking shit in text.
Definitely. So it's just part of the evolution of the game.
Absolutely.
And it's made a lot of cleaner, newer guys come through because you know they've been able to work on the craft before actually diving straight in the deep end and doing a rap battle. So
like you could never do shit like that back in the day. Like you could never really have like an online battle with someone that's in another country that would really work.
No.
Like it wouldn't. Like we I think people did videos a few times. Like that quarantine thing that happened was like kind of like that a little bit, but it wasn't. It didn't have the feeling because the people weren't there at the same time as much. You know what I mean? Like it would be video, then another video, and then video, then another video. But I think them being there, like you get people like Slimbuck as well, who is from Nigeria, and he gets to just fucking battle someone from across the globe, obviously, and then that will build the hype for people to want to see him here. And then when he does come here, he does really well, and his battle starts to, you know, get a good number of views. Like him versus Eunice was fucking great. I really enjoyed that battle. I very much enjoyed it, and I don't think that would have happened if it weren't for things like spaces and things like that, so that people can really show, you know, the audience who the fuck they are and what they do and what they care about.
Yeah, no, it's just the power of social media, really.
Yeah,
and being able to connect different people everywhere.
Facts. I hear you've been working on a film with Briggs. So I know Briggs has got The Pit, right? He's doing a short film, and I believe you're somewhat a part of it.
It's all been filmed and boxed off now. So
okay.
I think it's just being edited. I don't know when it's due for release at the moment, but it was a very enjoyable thing to be a part of, and it's a brilliant piece of work as well. I literally loved every minute on the set with Briggsy and Jamie and Andy, who were all, you know, the co-founders of the film as such. So I'm very excited for people to see it. It's only going to be a short film. It's not going to be very long. I think it's been aimed at film festivals as a, you know, as a kind of like way into something bigger.
Right.
But yeah, it's filmed very, very high quality. It's very much encapsulates UK battle rap, which is brilliant. Got some cameo appearances from some well-known names, and yeah, I got to be a part of it. I got to write some got to write some of the script for one of the female performers, which was great. And yeah, I was involved that way. I was involved as a performance analysis, that my title was. So
Sick. That's dope. It's cool, like when we're already passionate about something, like, you know, your creative endeavors that you do. Like, you are at the end of the day a high level battle rapper, so it's going to be, that's something that you're very passionate about. So to be able to consult someone about how to come across as that thing is really cool. I think that's like something you can tell, you can tick off and be like, later on in life, be like, oh yeah, I was a part of a film as well. Like I consulted someone to understand what it's like to be a battle rapper, like a high level battle rapper, these sorts of things. I think those sorts of things you're going to remember when you're older, man. Like,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
awesome.
And it was a lot of fun, and it was also like a big privilege to be asked as well, because it's not something that I was ever anticipating being involved in. And I got asked by Briggsy, and I'd always do anything to support whatever he wants to do in his life. So yeah, it was a really good moment for me. I really enjoyed it. Got me very inspired as well, like, you know, to try and potentially do more in the future, but mainly like the acting stuff, like watching Bobby, who has a big role in the film. He was just so effortless with his character. It was really like amazing to watch.
Hey man, I think I've been saying this forever. I think people, like human beings, are more creative than they give themselves credit for by default. Like, I think that's just a part of the human condition. And I think, if anything, we kind of get drummed into thinking that we're not creative, or that, like, we're maybe a little bit, but we can't really spend our time on it because there's more important things. But I think you know, you're going to find with a lot of really high level creatives that when you put them in another discipline, if they're passionate about it, they're going to thrive there too. And I think Bobby is a really good example of someone that's like, in his battles, I'm not saying he's acting all the time, but he has a very theatrical, like, over the top, like, I'm gonna scream in your face, I'm gonna like make you feel like belittled and all these sorts of things. And I think not everyone has this, like, such an exciting way of going about it, and such a, you know, intense way of going about it. And I think that will probably lend itself pretty well to acting as well, to be fair. So that's
Yeah, and
dope.
he has a high level of self-confidence as well, which not a lot of people have. Like, obviously, like you said about the humans are more creative than what they give themselves credit for. A lot of it is just the fear of how they're going to be judged and looked at, and potentially criticized as well. So, I mean, I'm guilty of that. I mean, certain things I do in battles where I'm like, oh man, I hope I don't get judged for this, or I don't know, I'm saying this. And it's just part of being a human being at the
And
end
a
of the day.
creative as well, yeah. At the end of the day, it's very easy to be. You're going to be vulnerable about things like that. Like, you know, it's normal to be as a human to be vulnerable about their creative endeavors. Like, if you're creative, if you're a creative of any kind, I think actually putting it out there, even if it's not like, you know, it's not cringe. You know what you're saying. You know why you're saying it. But like, then you think it's really hard to not overthink and think, oh fuck, but like, what if they see it like that though? Like, and then I'm gonna look like this. And I think, yeah, like, you're right. Bobby is very, very high in confidence. Like, you can never tell that guy that tell me that guy doesn't have confidence in himself. He definitely does. King of the jungle, as he says quite often.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can't wait to see that. I'm actually looking forward to it. I do remember watching, what was the one that Shotty was a part of, kind of, and he was in
Versus.
Yeah. I didn't hate that, but I didn't love it.
It was all right, but the difference between that and the pit is that this really does encapsulate like a proper
How
UK
it
battle
is,
rap
yeah.
event.
Good.
Yeah, like it will be like watching Prem on a movie, which
Right.
is,
That's a
I
good
think, what
thing.
Briggs is obviously.
Because
Yeah,
sometimes
definitely.
the way that they try and package it, like in these sorts of things, I think, yeah, like with verses, I think it just kind of, it's not bad, but when you're really into the scene, it doesn't really come off as super authentic. It's a bit more like, okay,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's very much like, I don't want to criticize it too much because I did enjoy it,
it's
but
good.
I
Yeah,
just
I
felt
didn't
like,
hate it.
yeah, it just in certain parts, it just, for someone who's involved in the culture, like as a fan like yourself or me as a performer, like the things of like the certain venues and stuff, there was just bits that were just a bit off, that just didn't, you know, they weren't as authentic.
Yeah.
And
And you wouldn't know
As,
that
as,
unless you were someone that actually spends time and watches battle rap and these sorts of things.
yeah,
And I think it's
I
better,
can say the
obviously,
same
if the
about,
film is a bit more accurate, because then it's way more likely that someone's going to go, "Oh, I love this," and then go find it and find the same thing and enjoy it.
yeah, and I could say the same about the bodied film. There was parts in the bodied film where I thought, oh, I don't really enjoy this bit.
Yeah, I didn't really. I'm not
Um,
gonna lie. The bodied film, it was too cheesy. Is the
yeah, this
bodied
is what
film?
that's what I mean. Yeah. Whereas, like I said, the pit from all the footage I've seen and the storyline and the plot and stuff, it's very much a realistic scenario as to how battle rap is, and
Hell yeah.
I think it'd be quite endearing to people who aren't involved in it to see it. I think it's coming out at such a good time as well with how pen game is and stuff.
Blowing up.
You know,
Yeah, I think it's perfect
yeah,
timing.
I think it's been expertly uh, maneuvered to hit the screens at the right time for sure.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the Yunnan battle? Because I've seen a lot of people online still saying, it's not everyone, of course, but a good amount of people have said that they think that he won that battle, um, and including him, obviously. Uh, and I don't agree, but I could see the argument. You know, I remember I went to rewatch it, and I was like, I mean, if you like this kind of rap, I could see why you would think that he won that. I can see it. But to this day, I still every now and then I'll see people being like, "Oh, well, he shouldn't have even had the belt anyway because he should have lost it to Yunnan." And I just feel like sometimes with Yunnan, for me, I'll give my opinion, and you can let me know how you feel about it. Um, I love what he does, but sometimes he just comes off like he's just going a little too, like, depending on the opponent, you're just like, all right, bro, like, chill out. Like, there's no need to. I don't know. The energy is a little off sometimes, you know. Like, I don't really need him to be screaming in someone's face saying he's gonna, stick a pyramid in his ribs and whatnot, all the time, you know. And I think he kind of did that a little bit versus you. Obviously, less cringe than the pyramid in the ribs thing, but he had a few moments where I was like, that's a good bar, but also like, calm down, like, chill out. And I think that's what made me put you over the edge when it comes to that. Pause. I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like I already felt like you won the first time I watched it. The second time I watched it, I was a bit more on the fence, and I think I watched it again on stream like months later, and I was like, yeah, I still think Biz won that, but I think it's mostly because I don't know, dude. He's just the energy that Yunnan had was just weird for versus Biz. I think he should have had a different energy versus you personally at certain points of that battle.
There's a lot to unpack with the Yunnan battle if you dive deep into it. Obviously, there was a backstory between us where I was given the belt off the back of him having to give it up
Mm-hmm.
based on the fact that we were supposed to battle twice and he couldn't make it on both occasions. So that was kind of like the hype behind the battle as such. And obviously, where I was at that point, people were all very adamant that Yunnan would have beaten me
Mm-hmm.
had we battled either of those two times for the belt after I won Anarchy. The second thing is that Yunnan is a phenomenal battle rapper,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm never ever going to take that away from him. And he has a massive following. A lot of core battle rap fans follow Yunnan and love Yunnan. And want the best for him and put him up against the big names and stuff and follow
Mm-hmm.
him everywhere and share all his shit and stuff, which is great. And he admittedly has more people following and supporting him at that time than I did for sure.
Yeah.
Particularly in YouTube as well. Like if you look at the YouTube comments, there's so many people that like come out of the woodwork to support Yunnan who are like from like
He was one of the people
from,
I supported early on. Like he was one of the ones where early
I've
on.
never
I still do. I'm not saying I
ever
don't support him. I'm just saying like
yeah
he was one of those names where I was really looking forward to his battles back in like 2012 and whatnot. I remember his battle versus
I've
Shorty, for
never
example.
I have nothing but respect for his art form. I think like I said, I think he's one of the best the country's ever had.
100%.
Um, he's an incredible rapper, and his material is sometimes outrageous how good it is. For sure. Even as close as saying when I saw him battling Whispers, I was
Oh yeah,
pretty much stood behind him, supporting him against Whispers,
crazy battle.
and I thought he was superb in that as well. So I've always had like an admiration for him as a battle rapper for sure. The format in which we were battling was match days, which firstly, me and Yunnan was never supposed to happen on that card. The only reason that battle happened is kind of like a last minute decision because we couldn't build the matchups how they were supposed to go with the rest of the team. So I was representing Shark City, he was representing Mandrill Mob, and because of who was available on that day, the only matchup that worked for me was Yunnan because it was all the others. There was a couple of people that didn't want to battle me for reasons that we've spoken about before, where if the belt's not on the line, then I'm not interested, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Yunnan said he was happy to battle without the title being on the line, which is fine. But obviously, within a match day, there's stipulations of the battle. So the battle was that you couldn't rap for longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The rounds were three 2-minute rounds with 30 seconds grace, and this was spoken about and confirmed in private. I was even asked if it would be all right to extend the rounds to 3 minutes, which I agreed to do as well. On the day, Yunnan's second round is about 7.5 minutes long.
I've always thought about that. Like, people do that all the time. Tay-Rock does that all the time.
Listen, if you don't want to go off on a tangent here, but if you look at all of my battles recently, right? So look at the Jazz one, look at Gemini, Tony D, all the big battles. My opponent raps considerably longer than I do. Now, is that a thing for me? Is that a problem for me where I'm too respectful of the time limits and what's been agreed, or is it on them where they're rapping for far too long and it's hindering how close the battle actually is? Because if you've got a battle with Yunnan where the rounds are 3 2-minute rounds with 30 seconds grace, so the maximum, let's say 3 minutes, like I said, was fine.
Yeah,
that's 9 minutes of material. He's almost taken the whole battle duration of material up in his second round.
Yep.
That's the be all and end all of it. And everyone would say Yunnan won the second round. But I would win a round if I rap for 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he rapped for 2.5 or 3.
Yep. Because how can you possibly compare those things? Yeah, it's ridiculous amount more material.
People don't look because of the format of the way match days was, and that was like respected on my side in terms of the time limit, because at the time we brought in the red lights that would go on if you went over your time limit, so then the crowd would be aware that you're rapping for way too long, and eventually it needed to be stopped, or you should have stopped as a battle rapper because you've exceeded your time limit. That's what the premise of the red lights on the battle are for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch my rounds, I think I'd dip into the red light and then end because I've timed it properly. He raps in a red room for about 5 minutes, which is mental.
Is that not the league's fault?
Listen, this is just one of the reasons. This is just one of the things to reflect on with the battle now. Mm-hmm. Now that everyone says Yunnan wins the battle, right? But Yunnan spat effectively an additional round.
Yeah, you can't do that, man.
I can't argue that you think Yunnan's won the battle if you're going to base it off the content on the day and the duration of the content. Because if you're rapping for longer, you're going to be able to say more good shit.
Yep.
So you are obviously going to be able to beat me in that retrospect.
You're effectively spitting extra rounds, yeah.
Yeah. And if you change the battle to as soon as he gets to 3 minutes, you cut the round. I mean, he went over in every round, really. The worst round was the second, where it was 7.5 minutes, I think it was, maybe longer, which is just crazy behaviour. But I'm not like calling him out on it or anything. I'm just stating the fact on why people believe that he won, and which is fine. And I mean, I didn't have any influence on the judges' decisions on that day. I didn't, chuck them a $5 each and say vote for me, and if the judges in the room voted for me, then fair enough. Like,
also, if the judges are people that are into battle rap in general, and they notice the same thing you just said, and they just notice, well, Yunnan rapped a shitload more, and then maybe they thought in their head, okay, I'll cut it off at roughly the right mark. And the problem is with that is listen, as a battle rap fan, I like it when people rap a lot longer in one way, because I would like to hear more material, so that's great. But at the same time, if one person isn't and one person is, that's makes me then that it's kind of ruined the battle in a way, because now I can't really like judge it normally, and I can't cut it off at the 3 minute mark, because if I do that, it's just gonna feel just disjointed. Like there's gonna be a massive chunk gone, and then it's like a weird half round because they haven't really like gotten to the part where they start to end the round. You know what I mean? Like, especially, well, depending on how you write your round. Some people just write punch, 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 punch. But if you write a round that's punching, but it's sort of woven in a way where it ends at the right time, and like, you know, it eases down in the right way, and there's hype moments and down moments, blah, 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 blah. If you're doing all these things and then like you've written it as 7 minutes and then they cut you off at the 3 minute mark, it's just going to sound weird. It's just going to be like, even though you've said some cool shit, yeah, it just disjointed now, you know? So there's obviously that risk when people do that. But it just doesn't seem to really get enforced.
It is a problem in battle rap. Like, I won't lie, it's not just Yunnan. Like Yunnan, I mean, battle rappers take advantage of the fact that they don't get cut off when they go up well over the time limit.
They never do.
And the problem with that is, if you're standing in my shoes preparing for a battle, do I prep extra round minutes, and then the one time that I do that, I get cut off early?
Yeah.
or do I just do what I normally do and then hope that the material that I've got outweighs the material that they'll do, which will effectively be longer anyway?
Yep.
That is the conundrum of my last 5 battles, let's say, because that's how I've had to go into them. You can look at literally anyone can go and watch my battles, and my opponent raps considerably longer than I do, and I've never ever complained about it. I don't care, it doesn't bother me. I just turn up to rap and do my thing. You know, I just do it my way. They do it their way, and it's never been a thing. But what I will say with the Yunnan battle is that when I've discussed time limits with someone and agreed on a time limit, for them to then exceed by such an amount is borderline disrespectful to me, and that's the only criticism I have of the battle. I really enjoyed battling Yunnan. I was very much like very, very, very giddy going into the battle because I'm such a big fan of his work at the time, and really enjoyed what he had for me. I loved listening to his shit. I loved listening to the room react. I shook his hand after. We got a picture together. When we shook hands, he was like, "I think you took that," and I was like, "No, I'm not sure." You know, we had that back and forth where it was such a good battle between us, and then it just when it's hit the net, it's just been a bit marred because people see it in such a clear victory, but they're only viewing it in black and white. They're not viewing it in the details that I just explained now, which sounds like I'm being like dead picky and political about it, but I genuinely don't care about the result, and I don't care if people think he won, and I don't care.
But you'd rather they think he won because of just better material, but not because he rapped for way longer. It's like if at the end of the day, if you rap the exact same amount and then everyone thinks he won, why would you even?
I have more of a chance of beating Yunnan convincingly if my round's 7.5 minutes, and that's a fact. It's a fact. It's not a you know. It's not a cop-out or anything like that. It's a fact. If you let me rap for as long as he rapped, then the battle would be a complete, different outcome in terms of what people would see on the net, because it wouldn't be so out of balance in terms of, me cutting him around at 3 minutes and then 10 minutes later I'm still waiting to start the third. So it's a shame, that battle, because it just, the moment that it fell on my lap, everything was wrong about it. Like it probably, in hindsight, probably shouldn't have happened on a match day. It should have been a title match. I mean, you could even go as far as saying like the venue and the card it was on wasn't great, just because it was so hard to make the matches for the first match day in Manchester, and it was a smaller crowd than usual, and the list goes on. But it's battle rap, like it is what it is. It's part of the sport. Like, you're going to turn up some days, and you're going to have that. And I've never ever complained about it. I'm not complaining now. I'm just literally just as being asked the question and my thoughts.
Yeah, it's all me. I'm the one who's complaining. But this happened with Big K as well, with versus Tay-Rock recently. Like, Big K versus Tay-Rock happened, and I think it's a great battle. I think both went great, but Tay-Rock rapped way longer. I think he had like an 11-minute round, which is
what I mean,
unreal. Like, you can't really just go, "Oh yeah, he smoked that Big K. Big K fucking sucks." Blah blah blah. And I've seen it so many times in the comments, and it's just like, are you dumb? Like, let's be for real. Like, 11 minutes is insane. That's the whole battle. That's an entire battle. That is basically the whole battle. It's more than a whole battle in some cases, you know? Like if it's 3 minutes, which is usually the normal amount, right? Like roughly 3 minutes with a bit of grace period, that is literally an entire battle in one round. And you're gonna tell me that like, oh well, Big K should have just ignored the contract and turned up with exactly the same. Like, how could you know what I mean? Like you say, it's just you're between a rock and a hard place. You come with the extra shit. You're the one who gets stopped. You don't come with it, and then they do it, and then they'll get stopped. It's like, what are you? How are you supposed to deal with it?
Or I prep longer and then they don't
Yeah,
on this one occasion, and then it makes me look like the bad guy.
yeah. Like you're an idiot.
It's,
You're an
it's, it's a
asshole.
it's a complete lose situation. There isn't any benefit for any option that I choose.
I
So
completely agree.
it is what it is, and it's like you said. Is it on the leagues to take it upon themselves to stop people rapping when they're taking the piss? Probably, yeah. Like I mean that's the only way it can be monitored, and
But I get in a way why they don't. Like I think it's like a
no, I
content
know.
thing, right? Like they don't
I
want to
think
cut
yeah.
you off and then have it look like luster and whatever when they're trying to build the scene and get money from it and all these sorts of things. And I do
The
get
problem
why
is with
you would want to keep it there, you know?
the problem is with the likes of Tay-Rock and Unad is that because they're so good and people enjoy listening to them,
Yeah.
that when they continue and it's not disjointed, it's not like they've done 3 minutes of shit and then
Yeah.
it's like one good punch. It's consistently good material and getting reaction from the crowd, and the
Yep.
crowd are continually hyping it. So I completely understand why it would,
Why the league would keep
if
it, yeah.
you're a promoter sat watching it and a host and you in the room watching the battle, it's like I can't wait for this to go on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's just the way of the
And I'm
world.
not gonna lie, people do whine as well. Like if you cut someone off, they're like, oh, why'd you cut him off? He was going crazy. What are you doing,
And
man?
the crowd start booing, and then
Yep.
your opponent then gets asked, "Oh, can he carry on?" And then you're like, "Oh,
Now it's on
yeah,
you.
like, yeah."
Now it's
You
suddenly on the
know what I
opponent.
mean? There's no winning scenario for the person that isn't, you know, exceeding the time limits. If there is just it isn't there.
I think
Um,
I do think it needs to be enforced though. I think whoever needs to enforce it, I do think it needs to be enforced. And I think the only way you're going to get around the fans being assholes about it is by making it unbelievably clear that it's going to be forced over and over again, not just on the day of the battle, but consistently. So like everyone knows what the rules are and that they're going to be enforced and why. And then if everyone knows, how can you fucking complain? And if a couple people do, it is what it is. Like you just got to think about the rules and blah blah blah, right? But I think if no one really understands why this is going on or it isn't really put across very well, I think you got a bit that it's just a problem. You like we say, you're between a rock and a hard place, really. But I do think it needs to
yeah,
be done because, like, yeah, I watched that whole Tay Rock versus Bizzo, not Bizzo, sorry, Tay Rock versus that'd be good actually. But
one day.
yeah, that'd be fucking sick. If we can actually get him over here without him just leaving or not turning up, that would be awesome. That was an interesting one for him to not turn up to. I still, you know, I'm sad that we didn't get to see fucking Twerk versus Shotty. I still feel like that would be absolutely insane. Like even Shotty being so respectful about him as well. Like he said that he thinks that Twerk is like the best battle rapper right now and things like that. And I think someone like Shotty saying that is a massive deal because he's quite a cocky human being. Like he doesn't really want to tell people that that they're better than him. You know, at the end of the day, he wants to. He's got his own ego and he wants to, you know, bring himself up and blah 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 as the battle rapper that he is, especially being so accomplished, right? So it's when he said that he thinks Twerk is the best battle rapper right now. I think that meant a lot in me being hype about that battle. I was like, oh shit, okay. If he thinks that, he's not gonna. There's no slacking that's gonna happen here. Like he's gonna do his best, absolutely, like for sure. And I really still
Oh
want to
yeah,
see
and
that.
don't get me wrong, like the stuff that Shotty has for Twerk is
Unreal, yeah.
unbelievably next level. Like, and it's such a shame that battle didn't materialize twice.
I really hope
Fully
it does
out.
down the line.
It would be great for it to happen. I still think bringing Twerk over here now, the only person that makes sense for him to battle is Shotty. I don't think there isn't really anyone that you could put him against where
No.
it would be as electrifying as it would if it was Shotty versus Twerk.
He's the big name,
So I
really,
think,
that most people know. I would say in the UK.
yeah, I just think it's down to Twerk and his team to make that battle happen. It's not the other way around.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm really
They
sad that
need
that didn't happen several times. That's like that's just one of them where
to.
it's like I can just see that being on YouTube and then everyone losing their fucking mind about the contents of it. I can just imagine it, you
Oh,
know.
mate, it had the opportunity to be Shotty versus Arsenal again.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe better, because I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I'm about to hate on Arsenal real quick. I'm not the biggest Arsenal fan. Like, there's been moments I like. I think he raps well. I think he's very good at rapping, and occasionally there's things he says that are good, right? But I think he has a problem where he raps really well, but doesn't really say a lot for a good portion of what he does, you know. That's the case
Yeah.
in that battle actually versus Shotty as well a few times. Like, he just, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, you know? But he raps well, so it's always entertaining, and especially for like the back then, a lot of people that were into battle rap way back, they weren't really super by that time, you know, into the super intricate bars yet. You know, it was very much like the Don't Flop crowd of like people that were looking to hear like, oh, your mum's this, your mum's that, blah 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 blah. So I think like maybe it was like in between at the time, and so like some of the shit that he said kind of just he got away with it a little bit. And I think that Twerk would be a much better opponent, because Twerk, he's got the rapping side of it, he's got the performance side of it. He has some of the best bars I've ever fucking heard in my life, like every battle, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Who comes up with some shit like that? You know, like he does like the Rum Nitty thing, but he has like way more like extra like intangibles. I feel like he has like a couple more intangibles that I don't really necessarily see from people like Nitty and whoever. It's crazy, because like the only people that I would really put on a pedestal like that at the moment would be Ilmac, I guess, is like some of Ilmac's top performances that I always imagine. He has like, he ticks almost all of the boxes that you could tick as a battle rapper, you know.
Yeah, Ilmac's a goat.
Like
Forever.
unbelievable performances. I think he beat Nitty personally, and I think Nitty's one of the best, and I really enjoy Nitty. I think in that battle, Ilmac beat Nitty. I do, because he just had such fucking insanely well put together like schemes that all were saying something really specific.
He's always got very like dense material. Like there's so many different. The way that he's one of my favorites, Ilmac, because he's always so direct. Like, but he's so creatively direct. So he can take an angle and absolutely tear you to pieces based on you,
yeah.
not just based on a generic thing. It's not like taking a current event and going, no, current event, and then the crowd go mental. Like Rum Nitty's stuff for Ilmac, I thought Rum Nitty took Ilmac very, very seriously, and I thought he was very impressive by doing it. And he even made Rum angle on him as well,
which is rare. You don't get that
which is a testament to Ilmac as well, because you know, I thought Rum Nitty was phenomenal, but I also thought Ilmac was phenomenal as well.
I think it's a debatable battle, but I had Ilmac, because, like you say,
I want to watch it again now,
material.
Because I've not seen it for a while.
He has such dense material, but not like sometimes when people have really dense material where they're like trying to punch about you and your name and all these sorts of things, I think they give away a lot of the coherence with what they're really saying, or maybe they aren't really putting across that much of a punchline about you individually as much as like wordplay about your name or wordplay about something that you might have maybe done one time and not really that much about you. But I think with Ilmac, he has like a very good way of saying something that people might agree with, even if you like the battler. Like he was talking to he was against A-Ward, for example, and I think him versus A-Ward, he absolutely smoked him in my view. I feel like it wasn't even close. And
that's
A-Ward's better now.
Performances.
Yeah,
that's definitely one of Ilmac's best performances.
It's one of them where I'm like, I remember during the battle, I was like losing my shit. Like the whole thing, I was just like, what the, like this is so many bars. Like boast religiously, and like there's just so many that like I could go and watch it again and just be like, fuck me, that is a bar, man. Like, and it's always saying something really clear about the opponent. Like he was saying that like he always brings up the Christian thing, and like you know, there's a lot of like details in everything he does that I think go over people's heads in the room as well, like most of the time. Like he was amazing versus Soul as well, like when he came over to battle Soul. I really want Soul to come back, speaking of which. I know he's like doing his own thing, not doing that. But man, it's such a gap to not have Soul battling. Like he's one of those people. I think when you said if people could just come out and do 3 battles of the year, I would fucking love it if Soul could come out and do 3 battles. I would lose my shit. Like And there's people he could battle
think,
now.
there's rumors that he's going to do one more, but there's just no time frame on when it is.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
a bit of a spoiler for you there.
I hope to God he does battle, man. He's one of my favorites. Like one of the best writers of all time, in my opinion. Like in general, like just an incredible writer.
Oh yeah, phenomenal writer.
His things that he
Unbelievable.
releases online, you know, like his those walls
Yeah,
of
his little
text he does.
snippets.
Fuck me, like what the, like it's just dense beyond belief. Like I'm
Yeah,
just like, that is legitimately, you could put that in a book and sell it, and people
yeah,
would be like, that is unbelievable, and they'll look at it for like 100 years to come or 200 years to come. That dude is like something special, man. I remember watching him versus C Major and being like, this is fucking incredible. Like I remember just being like, that was like my, when I was super getting into battle rap at the time. Like I'd already gotten into it, but that was when it was like, wow,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is my shit right here, you know. And that I remember watching that
yeah.
battle and being like, good God, this is just that so high
That was a
level.
that was a very good battle. C Major's another one I'd love to see come back
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, absolutely. His
I think
music's
C
great
Major.
too.
I think yeah, absolutely. I think C Major would translate really well in today's battle rap.
I agree.
You know,
I want
I
to
think
see
he
him
was a
versus
little bit
Georgie or
on.
something style wise. I think that'd be a good matchup. Like I think he'd beat
Yeah,
Georgie, to be honest. If he's on form, I think he's smoking him, to be honest. I think Georgie's fucking great, but you know, I don't necessarily put
yeah.
him on the same level necessarily. You know, maybe I could. Well, maybe I'm tripping.
I'd
Maybe I'm
like
tripping.
to. I don't know if it's happened before, but I think C Major versus RK could be
Yeah,
an unbelievable battle.
yeah. I'm not sure if it has actually. It's a good point. That would be a great battle. They have a lot of energy, both of them. I think both Londoners, right? So like the
Yeah,
accent and the screaming
C
similar.
Major was underappreciated when he was in Don't Flop because he was very bar heavy, and at the time it wasn't the in thing as such. So, um, yeah, I think he would be a lot better if he came back now. Well, he'd be bigger
Top
and
tier, yeah.
yeah,
I think he'd do really well on something like Pen Game as well, to be honest. Like if he did something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
definitely, yeah,
Like he's very good
yeah,
on beat. I think seeing him on beat on something like that would be great. And he is a name enough where like people know who he is, you know, like I was watching like a clip on there of Caveman the other day. And I
yeah.
was thinking about like he's dope. He's been improving a lot as well. I've been enjoying watching most of his battles. In fact, speaking of which, is there anyone like that's not like that you want to battle, but like are there people that you really are like heavily behind that are coming up right now? Like people, are there any specific people you want to shout out that you think, you know, these people are really someone to look out for right now in the UK scene?
Got a lot of love for Reverse. I think
Yep.
Reverse is essentially a superstar in the making. I've got a lot of love for him, which I've told him numerous times. Really like Kingsley Thunder.
Yep.
Um, it's a shame that I'm hearing that he's, you know,
He's
calling
left,
it a
right?
day
Yeah.
before he moves to New Zealand, which is a shame. Who else do I really like? I think with a bit of work, Dub T will be a very good battle rapper. I really like RX Southside.
Me too.
I really like MK.
Me too.
I like both of them. I think they're really good for the scene
Did
with
they have a
what they've
duo?
done.
Did they have a
They've
two on
all,
two?
they have it. They've not got a 2-on-2 yet. They were. I think they've like rumored it a couple of times, but nothing's happened yet. But that would be fire if they actually linked up and did that.
I think there are two people that are really good examples of people that are marketing themselves prior to having done things like that. You know what I mean? Like they're really online pushing their brand, you know, and I think they do a good
They
job with it.
love the culture, man. That's the difference. Like, and they're both. If you look at MK and RX, they're both humble enough to realize that they aren't great yet.
Yeah.
Like they know that they have potential. They know that they're still learning. They know that they're good, but they're not like some who I won't name or get into. But you can't come into this with an overinflated ego based
Mm.
off 2 or 3 battles where you've won at low level. Like you don't deserve to go straight onto a main stage battle and be battling the best and calling out everyone left, right, and centre. It just doesn't
Mm.
work like that. You just can't do it.
Can't be
And
delusional.
yeah, exactly. And RX and MK are far from delusional. They're both two of the like most humble people in this that
That's good.
you'll speak to.
It's a good start as
Um,
well, and I think they're getting a lot of love. And I saw that RX went over to what's it called? No
yeah,
Entourage, is it? The Tay Rock
yeah, no
League.
one's went through Tay Rock, yeah,
Got
and
some love
he
there,
gets a lot of love off Tay Rock, yeah.
which
A
is
lot
awesome.
of people in the room,
And that's
which
rare.
is,
Like you're not
it's
gonna
not,
get like scenarios like that, like with most people. I don't think if he wasn't so authentic and himself and like, you know, probably as humble as you're saying, I don't think it would have gone the same way. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't.
well, here's the difference. Here's the difference with RX, right? RX, no entourage. He's seen an opportunity there to go over to battle Roheezy on a card that, you know, there's not a lot of well-known names on, let's say. However, he's looked at it from a different view, where he said, "This is a league that belongs to Tay Rock. Therefore, I'll be battling in front of Tay Rock." The worst case scenario is that the only person I'll be battling in front of that's a high caliber battle rapper is Tay Rock. That's not a, you know, that's not a bad thing at all. To
No,
be,
no.
if even if it was just Tay Rock stood there. So, does anyone think that RX got his flights and accommodation paid for him over there?
Probably
No,
not. No.
I wouldn't say so. So these guys that are saying that they want to go to iBattle and they want this and they want like they want a fee to go to battle on this league, or they won't battle on no lose chat unless they get paid X amount of hundreds of pounds, or they want the flight paid for so they can go and battle on King of the Dot or iBattle or whatever. It's not how you conduct yourself.
It's also just
You
not
do
where
it.
the scene's at right now. Like, yeah,
Just
if the
just
scene was at a position right now, yeah, where anyone could do that, then a lot more people would be doing it. But it's just not how that works.
you've
Like,
got to take your opportunities based on how much you back yourself, not how much other people are willing to pay to see you.
facts.
It's if you see an opportunity to battle a big name on a big card, and you're going to turn it down because they won't sort your travel out or your accommodation out, they won't give you 500 quid to do it, then that's why you're stuck where you are.
Yeah.
That's literally the reality of all of this.
Like, I understand, you know, as an artist, you want to be paid for what you do, and you're also very cocky about what you do, and you like, you know, you think that you're very high level and you have a lot of potential and these sorts of things. But it's not even about all those things anyway. Like, that is an extra, if anything. It's like, it's not about how good you are at this point of your career anyway. Like, that's a part of it, but it's not the first thing that they think about. At the end of the day, the business, like we said at the start, like, they need to make their money back, and they're not going to do that by paying you, you know, a fee that doesn't make sense for your current popularity, and then putting you in a situation where you might shit the bed anyway, and then you do shit the bed, then what? Then they've just given you money for no reason whatsoever. You've gone over, you've made the league look bad, and then you just fucked, and then you've ruined your entire fucking career from the start.
And then you come back, and then you struggle to get bookings because you know you don't want to take your medicine and battle someone lesser after such a big mess up, and then you just end up stagnant because you just end up locked in, you know, your own egotistical view of where you think you should be as opposed to where you actually are, and so many people are like that.
You got to put yourself in position, man, especially when the scene is effectively in rebuild mode right now. You know, at one point, yeah, there was a lot more money in it, and even then, not everyone was getting paid very well or anything like that.
No. And it's all exaggerated as well. Like when people say they get paid this much and this much, and or they get flown out here and this, like a lot of the time they're not telling the truth. They're just doing it as a flex online.
Of course, yeah.
And bro, honestly, I could tell you some stories about behind the scenes with battlers' demands and stuff. Like it's just it's hilarious. It's just hilarious.
You think they're superstars, man?
Yeah.
And listen, I'm
it's a reflection on what they see online though. So if they see like someone like Tay Rock saying, "Oh, I've just been paid my deposit for this battle" or whatever, then they just want to be like that. They want to be able to preach the same way. So I'll be like, "Oh, send me a deposit for this battle." And it's not like that over here. Just
no, you gotta
get to a level where hundreds of people want to see you, like Tay Rock. I reckon Tay Rock could sell 200 tickets on his own.
Oh yeah,
at an event
easily.
If he
Just
really
being at the
wanted
event.
to.
Yeah.
So when you hit those heights, then yeah, make your demands. Do you know what I mean? But just enjoy the ride. This is what I tell all these UK guys: just enjoy the ride. And if you see opportunities, like RX is he's taken an opportunity. That's all that is. He's been offered something, And it's like, you don't have to do this, but if you wanted to do it, you could fly over here and battle this guy. And look what happens. He goes over, he gets performance, well, battle of the night, performance of the night, whatever, and comes back with a much bigger name.
Yeah.
Now Tay-Rock's watching all this shit. Tay-Rock follows him. Tay-Rock doesn't follow me on.
That's a big deal. A UK battler getting followed by Tay-Rock and co-signed in public on his own platform. That's a big deal, man.
Like not even like co-signed, like he was singing his name from the rafters. Tay-Rock,
fully
like,
co-signed.
I love this guy. This guy's going to be a massive part of our league.
It's a huge thing.
Because he took a shot. He took a risk and gambled on himself, and it's paid off. And
100%.
That's like kudos to him, man. Like I fully respect guys that do that, and I just wish more people were the same.
I think a lot of people probably just can't fucking afford it at the end of the day. Like they can't afford to fucking pay for the flights for themselves, and so that's really what it is. Like they've spent so much time sitting in home and rapping that they don't really have much money to spend in the first place. So they're just hoping, oh yeah, but I'm really good at rapping though. You should pay me, give me all the money. Yeah. So I get it. I do understand, you know, how delusional you can get in this stuff, and like how easy it is to get delusional about it. But I do think you've given a really good example for people, you know, over the last few years, for, you know, backing yourself. And obviously, you've, like I said at the start as well, I do think you and Prem have been a kind of symbiotic relationship with that, where you've both really benefited each other. And I think that, you know, you could have been like, no, fuck you, I'm the champ, I'm this, I'm that, and then said no to a lot of different things. You could have done that. But if you did, your career wouldn't be where it's at right now. You wouldn't have opportunities that you have right now, or that you're going to get in the next few years. So I think you've done a really good job of it. And I do think that you're going to have an even better year of it, I think, this year, since not being the champ, like you say, because now you can really tailor pick the matchups, and then that way you can put out the best possible content that you can, rather than having to, you know, just kind of work with what you've got and like end up on a certain card that probably shouldn't have been the card you did this battle on, and these sorts of things. I think, even though, you know, those battles are great, I do think that now you'll be able to have much better, consistent back and forth battles with high level opponents that aren't marred by these sorts of things. But the leagues do need to fucking start fucking timing people correctly, because that's going to be a problem still, I think.
Yeah, hopefully more.
But yeah, I'm not sure what else to fucking talk about, to be honest with you. Is there anything you want to plug whatsoever? Anything that you're going to be pushing into whatsoever? Oh yeah, one more thing I want to ask you about that definitely I was thinking about. So we've spoken about you doing music and stuff before, and I've realized that that's kind of taken a bit of a back burner, but you've been doing these kind of these short / TikTok type style things occasionally, where you'll do your, you know, the things that you're good at in battle rap, but you'll do them in a slightly different format. Is that something that you're going to keep doing, or and also is music a thing that you're going to be focusing on again in the future, or what do you think?
I'm just experimenting with a few different things at the moment. Like music, I do enjoy making music, but I always feel like music is a reflection. Music's better when it's, you know, when there's stuff going on. Like it's easier to make content when, you know, you're experiencing certain things in life.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm not, thankfully, which is a good thing in terms of like life in general. But from a music side of things, it kind of
like the Eminem problem, where
light a fire. Yeah, it just doesn't light a fire in me at the moment. Maybe it will later down the line.
Yeah,
I try and do a lot of different things. There's a lot of things, but I'm very much a person that can watch something on TV and then want to be the best in the world at it, and I'll see how far I can go with it. So there could be all sorts of things popping up in the future with me. Never say never to music. I would like to eventually make an album at one stage, just so I can say that I've made one and I've got one, but I'd want it to be perfect and right, and the content to be, you know, what I want to rap or sing or whatever it is within it. But yeah, man, I'm just enjoying messing about with a few things. I'm really looking forward to doing another battle now. I know it's been like 6 months since. Well, it will be 6 months since I battled Jem when I battled Frankie. So
time has gone so fast.
Excited. I know, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm just excited for a few more battles, seeing where that'll go, and then what I can do in the meantime.
Oh yeah, man. Well, you know, I appreciate you for hopping on. One more thing I want to say to people, because the next battle you have is versus Frankie Fraser on Short Circuit 10, also crossed with Absolute, I believe, for that, on the March 29th in Brixton. I didn't write down the fucking venue, but you guys can look it up. Go to premierbattles.club to find that. You can also find Bizzo.
It's called Hoot Nanny. Hoot Nanny is the venue.
There you go. So you can also find Bizzo on every social media platform, just called Bizzo Bond. I'll be linking everything as well to do with like things that we've mentioned in the podcast episode, any of his social media. I'm going to link a couple of your battles as well on there. So when you go on connor.work/DAM, all in caps, it'll be on there with the rest of the episodes, and you'll have a little card there that will say Bizzo, episode 17, and it'll have all those links as well. So if you guys want to check him out, which you absolutely should, and if you're not into battle rap, you should check that out too. There's always going to be people that you don't expect to like in battle rap. If you don't think you like battle rap, you might not have found the right one for you, but there's a lot of variants. Like, yeah, there's people that are the same, but there's a lot of people that are different. And so just give it a go. Give it a go. Check out some Premier Battles. Also check out some Don't Flop. Why not? You know, check out all the different leagues and see what you like, what you don't like. If you're not into it already, heavily recommend it. Thank you very much for everyone watching. Appreciate you hopping on, bro. And yeah,
thank you for having me.
Good luck in your battle versus Frankie. I'm gonna try my best to be in the room for that. I think I've got enough time to make sure that I will be in the room for that.
Yeah, man, get yourself down, that'll be sick.
But yeah, 100%. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Nice one, bro. Take care. See you in a bit.
Peace.